So our first example is some imaginary corporation with a web server, and they want to measure the speed of their server over time and see how it fits within their expectations of the server's speed, as it were. So we've got 3 buckets, and we can see here where the server is falling way below expectations. So this is a very quick way, with a combination of a line chart and a stacked area chart, to see how your measure is performing versus your expectations. So if we move on to the next example. So this is again imaginary data, but you get the idea. You can take the charts, you can have multiple measures side by side to then see how one is performing over another one. Once you've created one of these charts, it's very easy to then use it again for multiple different purposes. Example 3. So this is where we have multiple measures side by side, so we can see how one, in this case, person's caffeine intake is compared to another. So we can see here Paul is consuming a lot more coffee daily and is in the red zone in terms of what your caffeine intake should likely be. Again, if you didn't have the bandings on the chart, it's not so easy to see at a glance. By adding the color in the background, what it gives you is a very easy to interpret image where you can see quickly, for example, Peter stays mostly in the green zone, John is in the sort of average middle zone, and then Paul is drinking way too much caffeine daily. And then finally, if we want to get more advanced, here's my Fitbit data for the last month. It's not that impressive really, but what you can do with the data, especially with the red, amber, green bandings, your traffic light bandings, you can set them to change over time. So initially, if you look at the beginning of this chart where it's early in July, my stats were pretty low. As that's gone on, you can see my average has increased. So if you look at, for example, the step count versus the personal best, you can see I hit a peak around the 12th of July and then didn't hit that again until the end of July. Again, this isn't anything that's not included in Excel. This is all out of the box charts. So let's go and create something like this with our data. So here we have a basic table. We have a date dimension and our measure. In this case, I've put views. It could be anything. Sales. So here we have our table of data, which we're going to use. We're going to have a date dimension, which will be the x-axis, and then we'll have the sales, which is our measure, and that will be on the y-axis. So if I just select this, let's just go back and make sure, let's exit full screen. Make sure I can see the formula bar. Okay, so this data is in a table. And tables in Excel are much easier to work with because Excel recognizes a lot of stuff automatically. If you just had this as a range of cells you'd type data into, it wouldn't work as easily as this. So if I just show you, if I click on any cell in this table range, go to the Insert tab, insert a line chart, and there you go, it's already recognized this whole range is what we want to chart. And there we have our nice chart. So what we need to do now is define our buckets are red, amber, green. So in this case, I'm going to set the red as the lower numbers, amber as the middle, and then green as the top. So let's just create a table here. Red, amber, green. And what we want to do is, for our purposes, again, to understand the data, we're going to set a minimum and a maximum for each of these bands. So for red, I'm going to say it's going to be 0 to 150. Amber will be 150 to 300. And then green will be 300 to 450. Because we're going to be using a stacked area chart, we need to then figure out the width of each of these brackets or buckets to then, essentially, we're going to create 3 helper columns in our chart data to then render these. So I'm going to do that by taking the minimum value from the maximum. So that's going to be H6 minus G6, like so. And if I've done this correctly, they should all be 150. And to add these to my table, I'm just going to use a nice feature of Excel, which is the ability to rename a cell and give it a name, a bit like using a variable in programming. Right, I'm going to call this bucket red, bucket amber, sorry, I just had to kill a fly. Right, so now I can just do red, amber, oops, Control plus to insert another column, green, like so. And if I just type equals bucket red, there you go, it will automatically fill out every single row of this table. So we'll do it again for bucket amber, and then for green, bucket green, like so. And there we are. So helpfully, because again we're using a table, the chart has recognized we've added extra data to this table and has already included it in the chart. So if I just let's just add some stuff to this table. So let's add a title, and this title is just going to be the name of our data. And let's just add a legend as well. Like so. So all we need to do is change the red, amber, green lines to a stacked area chart, and then we should be good to go. So right click on the chart or the series, either one works. Change series chart type or change chart type. You'll still get back to this dialog. And all we need to do here, so we're on combo chart, and we change the red, amber, green data to be a stacked area. If we set the maximum value of the y-axis to around about the maximum value of our measure, it just makes the chart a bit tidier to see. So let's do that. And then finally, just change the colors, like so. So we just change the fill to be red, amber, green. So there you go, very simply. We've got our measure and we've got it against our buckets to then see how whatever our measure is, in this case sales, is performing. And if you want to change these, again, that's very simple. Because we've used this helper table, we can change the size of the buckets to then say, okay, the red is 0 to 75, and we could change the amber to be 75 to 150 to make the green much higher. whatever you need it for in your situation. But that's pretty much it. That should be that's all you need to know. Okay, so hopefully that helped you. I'm going to include a download of this worksheet so you can see how it works and look at the other examples, and then leave a comment if there's something that doesn't make sense in this, and I'll try and answer it.